Morning you guys, it's Karen and I'm here to do another ingredient spotlight, and this one is on Mandelic Acid. This came about because I bought the ordinary Mandelic Acid. It's new and I like to try anything new they have, and so I thought it was worthwhile doing an ingredient spotlight, and I can tell you if there's any other products out there and if it's a worthwhile ingredient. So Mandelic Acid is a essentially natural product that comes from bitter almonds. I say essentially natural because I'm not sure if the cosmetic formulations are made from almonds or whether they are made synthetically in a lab. Take for example the ordinary one, it says that it's nut free. Now it may be able to say that it's nut free because almond is in fact not a nut, it's actually a fruit, and some people with nut allergies can eat almonds, or that's traditionally known as a nut. So they may have got away with it that way, or it may be synthetic. So I'm not really sure if these formulations come from almonds, but that's where the natural Mandelic Acid comes from. Mandelic Acid has been used historically for urine infections, so taken internally as a tablet for urine infections, probably for its antibacterial properties. In skincare, it is a chemical exfoliant and it is an AHA. So as you may be aware, you've got BHA, which is salicylic acid, and then you've got AHA, which includes things like lactic acid, citric acid, glycolic acid, etc., the more gentler ones. So this falls under the umbrella of alpha hydroxyl acids. Mandelic acid, however, has larger molecules than any of the other AHAs, and so that means it's better for sensitive skin because it will take a lot longer to penetrate the skin. It also means though that it's not quite as effective as the other AHAs, and by effective I mean it won't work as quickly. You won't see results as quickly as you would using a glycolic acid or a lactic acid, but that may appeal to you if you have sensitive skin and have struggled with any acids but want to include one in your routine. Then this one might be the one for you. So what are the claims for this? Well, I've seen a few reviews saying that it is good for fine lines and wrinkles, that it's good for acne, and that it's good for uneven skin tone, so any pigmentation issues. So of course, let's look, what is the evidence? Well, all of the evidence, fairly similar to when I talked about glycolic acid, is in peels, Mandelic Acid peels, but it's not even Mandelic Acid peels on their own. There's studies showing the effects of a Mandelic and Salicylic Acid peel, so mixing an AHA with a BHA. And so that isn't really a study we can look at because it doesn't tell us if it was the salicylic acid or the Mandelic acid, and in fact it's more likely to be the salicylic acid because that is the stronger product and was used in the largest quantities in the studies. Other studies did have a higher level of Mandelic acid, but again it's in a peel, it's at 30 to 50% concentration, not in a low concentration serum. Those studies were also not independent. There were conflicts of interest that were declared on the studies. They were not double blind. They're more of a report than they are of a clinical study that you could trust the outcome. All of that said, the outcome showed that there was some benefit to pigmentation and to a little bit for acne. There's absolutely no evidence to show that Mandelic Acid has any effect on fine lines and wrinkles, etc. There's a study that shows that actually salicylic acid is better for acne than Mandelic Acid. The place that I would say this has shown the best evidence is that it seems to be working in pigmentation for those with darker skin, whereby things like glycolic acid may have caused pigmentation problems. This is a much better choice, and it has worked better on evening out skin tone. I had a look back at the evidence on the glycolic acid and just AHAs in general to see if there is anything out there for AHAs and aging, and actually the studies that have been done on AHAs, which often are mixed, so there might be one that's got lactic acid and glycolic acid, or lactic acid and Mandelic acid, or something like that, they are all high percentage. Or there was one study that had lactic acid at 8%, and I can't remember what the other acid was, it wasn't Mandelic, another one at 8%, and it showed no improvement or little improvement in aging. So I would say certainly for aging there is zero evidence. For acne there doesn't seem to be much evidence, but if you want to use something for clogged pores and for acne and you have struggled with other acids, I do think it would be worth a try. Certainly if I still had acne prone skin, I would give this a try because salicylic acid didn't work for me, and that's really the one that is geared towards acne because it can get through oil. Mandelic acid won't get through the oil, but it will still help to break down the dead skin on your face and any blocked pores, but it will do it much slower. So I would say if you're looking for exfoliation and brightening, which it can do by its very action because it is a chemical exfoliant, but you don't like any of the other acids because your skin is too sensitive, this one would be a great choice for you. If you've wanted to try, for example, the non-acid acid precursor by Niod, but it's too expensive, then maybe try this one. If you have darker skin and you have trouble with pigmentation, this would be a great product to try because although there's no evidence, the feedback is that it's doing wonderful things for people. That's it really. If you've got sensitive skin or darker skin with pigmentation issues, go for Mandelic acid. But if you don't, I wouldn't see any reason why you couldn't use the lactic acid, and actually it will probably be more effective because it's a stronger product. This is a much weaker product. It will take longer to work, and it's really geared towards those people that don't get on with the other acids. Product wise, I only have two to tell you about because there's the one called Bywishtrend. That's a 5% and it's more of a toner type product, but people seem to love it. I've seen some really good reviews on YouTube on that. A bit difficult for us to get in the UK. I can find somewhere selling it for £15, but there's then £15 postage and packing, so it works out as £30. And then obviously I'm going to talk about the Ordinary one, but the other products, there are a lot of other products there. If you look on Amazon or if you just look on Google Shopping, you will find a lot of products with Mandelic acid in them, but I don't know any of the companies. And nowadays you can, especially with the restrictions lifted on Amazon, anybody could make up a potion pretty much and sell it on Amazon. So I would want it to come from a brand I at least knew or had seen some reviews of. So we're mainly talking about the Ordinary one. This one is £5.80. This is a 10%, so it's the strongest one that I've seen out there anyway. There's some really nice ingredients in here as well. It's got hyaluronic acid in it, it's got glycerin in it, it's got Tasmanian fruit in it, which is another product that will help your skin not be irritated by things. So it's a really nice product for those with sensitive skin. It's their usual dropper form, of course, and it's a clear liquid that just comes out like so. It's fairly runny, you can see it sort of running around my hand, but it's not a watery product like the marine hyaluronic acid. You can see it has got a bit of a sheen to it at first. It's got a bit of substance to it, and it sinks in nicely to the skin. It actually feels quite hydrating when you put it on. It's a really nice product. It doesn't feel like you're using an acid at all. There's no stinging, certainly for me, and even though I can tolerate the lactic acid, I would still feel a little bit of stinging from the lactic acid, whereas I felt nothing like it from this. And like I said, this feels like it's a bit hydrating, which will be from the glycerin. They recommend using Mandelic acid in the evening because it is sensitive to light, and it also makes your skin more sensitive to the sun, so it's recommended to use it at night. Like any acids, you may want to avoid your tretinoins and your retinols, etc. And when I say may, it's all to do with your skin and how it's going to react to it, not necessarily that one cancels out the other or anything like that, because if you wait a little bit after this, your skin will get back to the correct pH, you know, and there's no issues with that. But if you've got sensitive skin and that's why you're using Mandelic acid, you wouldn't then want to put something else that's irritating on top. So you would probably want to avoid any form of retinoid or retinol, any vitamin C, direct vitamin C's. You'd probably be all right with derivatives, anything that's irritating, and probably not niacin either, which is nicotinic acid. I would just put a really nice moisturizer on top of this, or a really good oil. As you can see, I've only used this a couple of times and it felt lovely on my skin, and that's about it. I thought and hoped that it might be like the non-acid acid precursor from Niod, whereby I woke up in the morning and was like, wow, my skin feels amazing, but I didn't unfortunately get that from it. It does feel like I can feel on here where I've put it, it feels so smooth. I'll probably use it if my skin is dry, maybe starting to get a few flakes, but feeling too sensitive for lactic acid. That's everything. Let me know if you are going to use it, if you've bought it, what you think of it, and let me know if there's any other products out there that have Mandelic acid in it that you've really been enjoying, because I think that would be good for other people to know. But I mean, saying that, I do think this one, if you're going to buy one, this to me looks like the best one out there just now. So that's everything. I will list all of my makeup in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you soon.